There's a lot of things to get to, but I want to start with the latest in Dallas. The Cowboys are looking to use the franchise tag on Dak if they can't agree on a new contract. Now, Dak has made it pretty clear that he's not going to show up if he's franchise tagged. Last season, there was a report they were willing to make Dak a top 5 quarterback, but there was also a report that they fell short of the $33 to $34 million deal that Dak actually wanted. So I'm going to play some sound for you, but I want to give you this as the thought. Okay, this is a game of chicken, but there are a bunch of different elements to it. Okay, there are a bunch of different elements to it. The first element to it, and this is fascinating to me, is that it's Jerry Jones. What do we know about Jerry Jones? Well, Jerry Jones talks a good game, and he wants to be the tough guy owner. He wants to draw a line in the sand, and he probably deep down knows that while he got an absolute bonus getting Dak Prescott in the 4th round and not paying in the last couple years, he's not an elite quarterback, but he is a starting quarterback and a pretty good one. So how do you evaluate the fact that the guy's good and number 1 rated offense, but they couldn't actually score against the good teams? Kind of hard. Kind of difficult, isn't it? Sure. Let me make it a little bit easier for you. We know how this ends. It feels like the Cowboys have leverage, doesn't it? Hey, man, you don't want to do business with us? Franchise tag. Oh, you want to not play? Le'Veon Bell. There's 3 big points to it. 1, the Cowboys are better off signing a long-term deal so they have cost certainty. That's really important. For these general managers, you ask them, and they'll say, hey, we might overpay for a quarterback, but we have cost certainty. We know how much that's going to cost us off the cap for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. The second part is that while they believe they have the leverage of the franchise tag, unlike signing him before the year ends where you can stick some on this year, stick some on next year's salary cap and hide some money, you can't hide the franchise tag. You just can't. The franchise tag is dollar for dollar in terms of a cap hit, and that's not good. But here's the most important part of it. Jerry always gives in. Jerry always gives in. Always gives in, especially to his star players. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And you know who especially knows it? Dak Prescott. He knows it. Like, look, do I think that Dak is overplaying his hand? Sure. Do I think he listed, this is like when you initially list a price on the market. You have a neighbor's trying to sell their house. And when they listed their house, they're like, man, things are going for crazy. Let me list it at some crazy number. And now they start kind of dialing it back and what's called chasing the market. Wait, we'll sell it for this. No, we'll sell it for this. And anybody with the brain goes into the MLS and says, wait, it was listed for this. It was listed for $1 million. Now it's listed for 900 and 800 and 700. Now it's at 650,000, which is still a good value, but it feels like you're backpedaling, right? That's what I think common negotiators would think of what Dak Prescott. They threw out a ridiculous number. But it's Jerry Jones. Jerry talks the talk, but doesn't walk the walk. He didn't make Ezekiel Elliott hurt. He gave in. He didn't make Emmitt Smith hurt. He gave in. So Jerry Jones is. Right? Even the guys, hey, Des Bryant will probably be back as a Cowboy this year. Why? Because he gives in. He wants to take care of his guys. Look, that's who Jerry Jones is. He's the grandpa who's really fathering these kids he wants to be the disciplinarian. What do the Cowboys always lacked? Discipline, right? They've always lacked discipline. They've always lacked hey, let's do this stuff, right? I mean, that's what happened when Jimmy Johnson left and Barry Switzer came in. It was like, man, you love him up, and yet I get it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Dak Prescott knows it. Jerry Jones is going to give in this negotiation. They may franchise tag him for a second, but Dak's he won't get everything he wants, but he's not going to sit. Not going to miss a practice. They're going to convince themselves that, we didn't pay him the first bunch of years, so we got a discount. This is even, and we'll have cost certainty. And, they were the number one right now. Like, even knowing that Dak Prescott he's fine. And you can tell yourself that he should get more than Carson Wentz, but he shouldn't because Carson Wentz is better. You can tell yourself that he should get more than Jared Goff because he is better than Jared Goff, but he hasn't been to a Super Bowl. You can tell yourself that he should get more than Jimmy Garoppolo, but he hadn't been to a Super Bowl. The Cowboys are going to convince themselves that they're drawing the hard line and then ultimately giving in. And I understand it. Here's Dak Prescott last week on the Dan Patrick Show.
I don't know if it was that close. I can't say that I'm not disappointed that it didn't get done, but I'm definitely confident that it will. There's nothing in me that I have any doubt that my team, that the Cowboys will work something out and it'll be good for us both.
Yeah, it's just awkward, though, because you bet on yourself, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that was the logic when the season started? It's like, all right, we can't get it done. I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once you started the season with that, once I started the season without a contract, that's what it was. And then after about 4 or 5 games in, contract talks were over, nothing even being discussed. And as you said, I bet it on myself, and here we are.
Yeah, second in yards, fourth in TDs, fifth in yards per attempt, but they're 1-6 against playoff teams. And in 3 of those games against those 7 playoff teams, 7 games of teams that played in the playoffs, right? 2 against Philadelphia, right? They didn't score more than 10 points. Right? 2 times they didn't have a touchdown. So it's like the stats, was it Jimmy Johnson said in the halftime show, the hips don't lie? There used to be a show on ESPN called Numbers Never Lie. They do. No one cares what you do against the Giants, the Redskins, the historically bad teams. What do you do against the Patriots on the road? What do you do against the Eagles in a must-win game? He loaded up on his stats on the Sisters of the Poor. Couldn't win conference games. That's the college analogy. Look, I think Dak's a good quarterback. I think he's somewhere between 10 and 20th best in the NFL. I think he's fine. I think he'll do well with Mike McCarthy. He's not Mahomes. He's not Rodgers. He's not Breeze. He's not Brady or Rivers or those guys. He's just not. He's good enough to win with. He's around with really good players. And the irony to it is the more money he takes, the less great players they'll have around him. He's not great. I wouldn't. I'd like to think I wouldn't pay him top dollar. I think Jerry Jones would like to think he wouldn't pay him top dollar. But he will. He will. I think the Patriots can make 2 big moves. So the thing the Patriots do better than I think anybody else is identify their problems and try and go about fixing it. It's the great part, the chessboard, if you will, about the NFL. Patriots insider Tom Curran is reporting the Patriots are willing to pay Tom Brady $30 million per season on his next contract, but Bob Kraft won't force Bill Belichick to keep Brady. He's like, I'm not going to force you, but he's going to make Belichick be the bad guy if he wants to bid a do. This is about money. This is about Brady wanting a Jordan type of contract. Remember, $30 million is not the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, but it's a significant number because that's what Michael Jordan got his last 2 years with the Bulls. Okay, Jordan only made a couple $1 million a year throughout the life of his regular Bulls contract, but then they gave him that big number the last 2 years, $30 million each last year. So you're sitting in the war room like I was at Texas Tech with the New England Patriots. And like, all right, first thing we got to do is sign Brady. We can overpay for him? Sure. But we probably underpaid him this much time. Let's figure it out. How do we get him $30 million? That's 30 is the magic number. Like, it wouldn't be some arbitrary number that the owner would throw out unless they felt like that was the number that got the deal done. What else do they need? Tight end. But in order to get a tight end, got to be bright, got to be durable, okay? Got to be tough. We got to be able to depend on him and know he can play in big games. Did you guys see that Greg Olsen and the Carolina Panthers parted company? And that Greg Olsen hasn't immediately gone to broadcasting? Because Greg Olsen can come work for us whenever. He's awesome. Want to know the third move? They got to fix wide receiver. Right? How do you get a wide receiver? They don't draft well, and rookie wide receivers don't do well with Brady. Frankly, they don't do well in most of the NFL. You got N'Keal Harry. He's going to be better in his second year, but he's still not fast. You got Julian Edelman, but he's in his mid-30s. You need a big-time wide receiver. And they tried to do it with Antonio Brown. They tried to do it with Josh Gordon. Who's out there? Odell Beckham Jr. Right? He's basically Antonio Brown with no off-the-field baggage in the last year and a half, 2 years, since the coke in the hotel room thing, which wasn't attributed to him but was a bad look. There's no doubt that the Browns want to try and hit refresh, want to try and restart. That deal didn't work. He said he wanted out, whether he backpedaled or backtracked or not. If you're sitting in the Patriots war room, you say, what do we got to do to get better? Let's re-sign Brady. Bite the bullet. We don't have to waste draft picks. Let's go get Greg Olsen. Solid vet. $5-7 million. Nothing crazy. He still wants to play. Let's find a way to get Odell Beckham Jr. It doesn't mean problem solved, but that's the problem-solving element that the Patriots have done such a great job of, and that really entices people to want to coach, especially be in the front office of the National Football League. Hey, what up? Doug Gottlieb here. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Fox Sports Radio. You can catch my show, all the shows on Fox Sports Radio, unique interviews, strong takes, just interesting discussion on the sports topic of the day, of the week, of the month. It's all encompassing. It's everything you need right here on YouTube. Subscribe.